Greetings and welcome to today's Troma 360. That was last year. It's the 51st anniversary. Dan, I'm welcome, Dan. Well, yeah, to the show. I don't know why am I welcome to the show.
Good to
Joined
be here.
by Dan, Flesh Wound Dan, and Pug's Dread, of course. And today we're going to talk about Refuse Films TROMARCHIVE Collection. And I'm very excited about these. These are, well, we'll tell you if these are the definitive releases, but these are from the UK boutique label Refuse Films, and they also put out my favorite film of last year, Eating Miss Campbell, which is now available not only on Refuse Films Blu-ray, but you also just recently released on the US from Troma Films on Blu-ray, so you can pick it up stateside, overseas. But today we're going to focus on these. We also have a bit of a head-to-head battle with Cannibal the Musical and Cannibal the Musical to see which is the definitive release of the film. But we'll get to those two when we get to those two. We're not there yet because we're going to start at the top of the list with the TOXIC Avenger. Now I'm going to show you, before we do that, I do want to show you, they sent, because I did purchase all three, the first three volumes of the TROMARCHIVE collection. And it comes with a nice little sheet, but it gives a description of like what format everything, you know, comes from, because like the stuff on this release comes from everywhere. You know, from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray to Betacam masters, and it gives you a key. So if you want to know what's what, that's nice. And they gave some goodies also included. They got some stickers in here. And I figure I'll show those off since we got the Refuse logo films sticker, which is cool.
It's cool.
And yes, obviously this is probably my favorite, the classic Troma ink sticker.
Oh yeah, where's that tattoo?
I know it's on my list. I had to come up. Toxic Crusader sticker.
Yeah,
good old Toxie. And Alfred Packer.
Hell yeah.
And well, obviously, last not least, Sergeant KABUKIMAN N.Y.P.D. So
love that guy.
I am aware. You know, one of the things I learned throughout the extras is that Lloyd said that that's like the most streamed Troma movie on Peacock of the titles that they have on there. That's over TOXIC Avenger. Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
How?
Over TOXIC Avenger?
That's the thing. He said over Toxie. Like
yeah. I'm sure it's close.
There is a big, you know, following for that. I mean, obviously, I mean, I'm
not going to shit on it.
Obviously. Yeah. I mean, not my very favorite trope. I do. Well, obviously, I'm a fan, but I mean, it all starts here. I mean, this is the one. But let's take a look at the packaging. I'll see. It's got the nice slip cover.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
they actually did come in the bags, out of print bags, or to protect them. So I just keep them on. But yeah, so we have the disc that has their own.
Oh, that's cool.
Art, and then we have the back. But all right, so this thing is stacked. Like, I mean, we're not really going to talk about the films tonight. I mean, obviously, I love this film, and I think we all do. So if you want an in-depth look at the films, you can check out our TOXIC Avenger franchise show where we talk all 5 films. So definitely check that out. Now, this thing is stacked. I think I expected to, like, you know, get through one a day, and it probably took me about a day and a half each to get through these. I'm just going to start off the top on this one with the films. We got 3 cuts of the film on here. We have the 1995 Japanese cut. It's from a standard definition open matte master. And if you haven't seen this has probably about 10 minutes worth of extra bits in there throughout. Not my definitive cut, but I did rewatch that one going in on this. This is the version I wanted to see on the disc. So I checked that out. And then it also has the director's cut open matte and the brand new HD master director's cut that was recently on the US 4K. So, I mean, this thing's got you covered, like whichever version you want to watch. If you want to watch the full screen open matte, you got it here. You want to watch the brand new HD widescreen, looks beautiful, got it here. Or the Japanese cut. Really glad that they're doing this and including everything because, you know, I have a lot of Toxic Avengers. This, here we go. If I want to watch Japanese cut, right there.
All in one place. Hell yeah.
Yeah. But it's not just about that, because what the real thing about these things are the extras. Now I'm just gonna pull up. I'm using the menu grabs just so you guys can really see. Like page 1 on here, we have 4 audio commentaries. There's a brand new 2024 Mark Torgel commentary, moderated by Zach Bynes from Talking Troma with Zach Bynes. And if you haven't seen that, definitely check it out. Plus, we have all the other commentaries ported over, which is great. The 98 commentary, the 95, the 2014 with the cast. The deleted scenes that it has on here is, they're basically the Japanese scenes that are what make up the deleted scenes. So if you just watch the movie, you can see all the deleted scenes because it is a better cut without the Japanese stuff or the stuff that was left in the Japanese cut. But again, for someone who wants to watch every frame of Troma, there you go. And then you can watch them that way too. A new 2024 Lloyd Kaufman interview runs an hour long, and it was shot at the Glendale Theater that they've been doing the screenings at. So they're sitting in the theater. The Jennifer Aspinall interview, which is also runs about an hour, and I don't know, she did the special effects and has gone on to bigger things, but really good interview. Then there's a lot of like the stuff that's ported over. We have the 2014 Mark Torgel interview, the Jennifer Baptist interview, which is the last one I think that she's done for these releases, and it might have been her first one also, if I remember correctly. Always good to see Michael Herr's interview, and they do a Joe Flyshaker gimmick in there. If many longtime Troma fans know that Joe Flyshaker played Michael Herr's in a lot of the skits, so there's a little play off that in there, even though we finally get a real Michael Herr's interview. Dan Snow, Cigar Face, Mitch Cohen, the original Toxic Avenger, is interviewed. These are from the 2025 release. Robert Pritchard, and Sarah Bell Levinstein. They're covered. If you've any Troma release that there's been, it's on here. And this is just one page of the extras. Because if we go on, then we get to the TROMARCHIVE extras. From 2002, Where in the World is Toxie, which was a featurette on the old disc. And this is what I'm really excited about, that we're getting these, and they've been recaptured and stuff. And that is 2000's Troma's Edge TV. Like Dan knows, huge fan of the series. I'm hoping we get 20 of these TROMARCHIVE collection releases. I mean, just
for that,
yeah, but just for that, because being able to own those all remasters, been a dream. Dan knows, I do have all the episodes. I bought the tapes from Troma years ago, and I am a big fan. I talk about that one a lot. Toxie 15 years later is a nice little featurette. It's a little, it's Troma being Troma. That's what a lot of these are, like Mop Boy Secret. Now, the Troma Studio Tour, if you owned a Troma DVD from when they started, that's been on every disc. It's an interactive thing where you poke around. Well, here they just present everything so you can just watch it, which is cool. And we get the Troma's Basement episode 1 of 16. Now, that's kind of like Edge TV, but it's not. I mean, I want, obviously be able to collect them all. But they were the UK show. They basically had little 7-minute interviews with, not interviews, they had their host and a hot chick and then Toxic Avenger, but it was all just shot in Britain to promote the airings of the Troma movies in the UK, because UK always really gave Troma love on TV. Here, I mean, yeah, we got USA and Up All Night then also, but as far as I know, they got to see them uncut.
Wow.
Tromaville Cafe, which I'm glad these are getting preserved also. And that was another thing for TV packages where they had I know you've seen like footage on Troma releases, but it's just, you know, Lloyd and Toxie and like a bunch of the Tromettes, a lot of the early Tiffany Shepard stuff. She'll be there, Debbie Rashawn, and just, you know, acting traumatic and, you know, getting Hype and Lloyd up and doing intros. Troma System, another one. Really glad this is being preserved. This used to be it was a tape. It was technically it was an infomercial for a tape you could order for Troma tapes and a soundtrack and a poster, but it's like just 30 minutes of Lloyd and Michael Hers. Like this is actually when he still appeared on cameras himself, just promoting Troma, just being carnies and having a good time. I love it. And it's like the best it's ever looked. I mean, so happy that that's there. And we get a collection of rare TV spots. Great. And then we get to our traumatic extras, which we all on all the releases, we kind of have these sections. Now with this one, the Troma trailer tape 1, it's basically just a bunch of random trailers. Like, so this is like almost like the party section. Like you can throw that on and just watch 15 minutes of, well, some Troma trailers just for the fun. Followed up, we have the Troma Team video Toxie intros. Now this is one thing I'm very happy also, like, and I wish all the releases would have this. And I've talked, and I know all of the TROMARCHIVE ones from will have them. Well, I'm assuming this is the format they're going on, but it's every single Lloyd Kaufman Toxie interview they've done for every home video release, starting, you know, at, you know, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, just like all the ones. Like some of them have unused ones, but for this one, it's so it's like every Troma intro. So I love that. Troma, the first one, there's 2 VHS ones because there's the unrated one and the Troma Team VHS ones. So that there's tons of. So I think I left one of them off. So there's one more intro on there, but like, I mean, you can tell like we're putting everything on here. Like this is stacked. Toxie's photo video, it's, you know, photo gallery, bunch of photos. Now the Toxic Digital Excess runs 90 minutes. It's just, and I don't even really know what the official description of this is, but it's literally 90 minutes of just like, I don't know if it's ripped from YouTube, just like scoured, just random like clips of different things. Like it starts off with a Toxic Crusaders toy commercial, and then just like random like bits from Troma's Edge TV, Toxic. It's just a bunch of really cool, like a mixtape for 90 minutes of just Toxie Troma stuff. So I mean, that, like, between that and the trailer tape, you can just watch, you know, it's
a good time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but I mean, that's a lot of extra, like literally I don't think there's anything more I could ask for on this.
No.
I mean, some people might, well, it's not 4K, but it's still beautiful. I've seen the 4K, I've seen the Blu-ray, and I'm not going to get in the whole Blu-ray versus 4K discussion that I know is going on a lot now. But like, if this was the only release I could have, I'd be cool. I don't need the 4K because this has everything. Like if I made the Troma Blu-ray, this is how I would do it. Like
it's a hard stamp of approval, Mr. Todd.
I don't know how else to say it. Like, so I mean, if you're like me and need every Troma release, then obviously get it. If you want the best version, I say, and you must have it in 4K, I say this is the way to go. So, that's what we have on that. All right. So the second in the TROMARCHIVE line is Cannibal the Musical, and this one, like I mentioned at the top, that we will have a versus section to see which has the better extras and the better transfer. So we'll start off with, since this, you know, we have more TROMARCHIVE releases, we're going to start with Cannibal the Musical. On this release, we have 2 versions: the 1995 Screen Edge VHS master tape and the brand new 2024 Refuse Films HD master. Now, the Alfred Packer 1995 tape is, it's a little rough looking, but
As it
that's not
should
what,
be.
yeah, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the brand new 2024 Refuse Films HD remaster of Cannibal the Musical. And this one, there's a lot that went into it because, and we'll get into this more when we talk about the Vinegar Syndrome ones, but this was basically taken because the film was shot on 16, but it was never finished on film. It was transferred to tape masters. So basically what they did was they took all the tape masters, redigitized, and just rebuilt the whole structure of the film, apparently, and to give it the best possible look. From the closest masters to the negative. The closest masters to the negative is where it came from.
So one generation.
Yeah, since the negative is actually technically lost, the closest thing is those tapes that came from the negative to put the film together. So, and I know everything was like done by, like there was love put into this master. And we'll get to the results between the two in a bit. Before we get there, I want to talk about the extras on this first disc of the TROMARCHIVE collection. And this one, another stacked one. We don't get new Matt and Trey interviews, but what we do get from them is from the 2006, and this would have been the anniversary release of Cannibal that Troma put out. We get the uncut Trey Parker interview, which is literally what it says. It's uncut. It's like the full hour. Lloyd showing up to his house till he leaves. Camera never goes off.
That's awesome.
I
don't remember seeing it.
We got Trey eating his Del Taco, which is funny because if you know the Del Taco story, that's where the deal was made. So it's like uncut, like, and so we get it's the beta SP master just transferred and thrown on the disc. Like, I loved it. It was just everything unfiltered. And we have the same with Matt Stone. I think his run's a little shorter. I think it's closer to 48. And that one they did at the South Park studio.
Fuck yeah.
And so, and that's like, I really like that interview because Lloyd basically is like, I didn't think you liked me. And it goes back to a different interview, but so it comes up and, Matt's like, no, Matt was just being, he's farting on the mic in the old interview. So it's funny, but, so that was really cool to see just them uncut. And then we have another one also from the same era from the Team America. I believe it's when they were shooting Team America, and Jason McHugh, who's one of the other producers, is just basically driving Lloyd around in the car to go to get to set. And it's funny because at some parts you can tell he's like kind of like preparing Lloyd. You're probably not going to be able to get to see either of them today. But they get there, then they turn back and drive back. But it's the whole, if you see the final interview, it doesn't have that middle part. It's like you get the stuff in the car on the way there and on the way back. But I thought it was, it's cool to see that stuff.
Yeah.
And then little squeak, little bitch, whatever we want to call it. Dean Botcher? Bakar. Thank you. See, a little squeak. But but his is like a 2-minute interview. It's like on the set, he was there, so they got him. There's nothing really of substance on here, like in this interview, unfortunately, but it was still cool, just from that era. But the next thing, if you see, we have the raw behind the scenes footage. This adds up to about 2 hours because the first 2 tapes are 45, and the last one's like a half hour. So it's 2 hours worth of just raw behind the scenes footage. So you're seeing these guys in the woods shooting it, doing the effects, in the house in between takes, just shooting stuff like B-roll stuff. And it's all just really cool to see the raw footage of that.
Yeah.
And I had to watch every. It took me a long time to get through all this, and it was all worth it.
Fuck yeah.
And then we get to the TROMARCHIVAL extras. We have our second episode of Troma's Edge TV.
Oh, there we go.
We have a spring 98 EPK Troma tape, which starts off with the Cannibal the Musical. It's South Park is already broke. Yeah. So now they're pushing it. Want to, capitalize on South Park's success. And it starts off with that. And it's just, Trauma pushing their tapes, but that one really like starts off with Cannibal, so it was cool. Like I love these old promotional tapes with Trauma just trying to sell their tapes. And then it follows up with the 97 South Park VHS sales pitch, which is basically the header of the other tape. And move on to another episode of Trauma's Basement. Again, I put that over on the first one. Cannibal sales pitch, a Cannibal VHS sales pitch reel. I think that one was about 15. We get all the Trauma Cannibal trailers from the first, when the very first one, it's still Alfred Packer the musical, and the 95 Screen Edge UK trailer, which is, I believe, still Alfred Packer the musical. And we get the actual Alfred Packer, the 92 Alfred Packer trailer, which is the fake trailer that they shot that they used to actually fund the film, which was actually, I believe, Trauma's first trailer also. But yeah, so that's included. So the only thing that we don't get, well, we kind of do. We'll get to the deleted scenes. We get 2 new audio commentaries. Both are entertaining. We get the Cannibal cast commentary from the anniversary edition, and my favorite, the original inebriated commentary when they're all drunk.
Hell yeah.
It made, this and Clerks are 2 of my favorite drunken commentaries. But yeah, I am a sucker for that. Deleted scenes. We have, some brand new deleted scenes and outtakes sourced from the work print. And what I was getting to earlier was there is one that, and I guess they've said it a few times, Trey has put the kibosh to it every time. But there's the one deleted scene of a deleted song, and you can kind of see it in the trailer, and it's got a techno beat, kind of rappy.
Oh.
And that's why he ultimately cut it. At the point of the movie, it was in the fight he has at the end. And the fight is actually a fight techno rap kind of thing, like during the fight. So they cut out everything but the actual fight. So, so they cut out all the singing. So it's just the fight now. But I guess you can kind of tell if you know, but I don't know. Like I've never seen that missing song, but you can see clips of it in the early trailer. But like Trey's like, no, he doesn't want it out there. He doesn't want to put it back in. He doesn't want a deleted scene. So it's like Within the Woods. It exists, but we don't get to see it. So maybe one day Trey will be like, fine, they can see it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if they could have included it, they would have. Well, they. And on interviews, we have a bunch of new interviews on this one, and this is another one where there's so much information. Jason McHugh does a great interview, and these are like substantial interviews. They don't run as long as the Lloyd ones, but they're all run right around 20 to 30 minutes, some longer. I want to say the Toddy Waters interview was longer, which she plays the love interest in the film. I don't know if everyone knows her name, but she talks a lot about the relationship with Trey too. I didn't know they were together. I knew she later appears in Orgasmo, but she moved to LA when Trey did, and there's a whole thing. But they grew apart, as fame kind of does. But I was a really good interview. I've always liked her in the film, and she's in Orgasmo also, so that was cool. We also have Andrew Kelmer interview, John Hagel, Masco Mackey. I don't know if I'm doing sorry guys if I'm botching the names. But then with this one, there's not as many intros. We get the 1998 Trauma DVD interview, the 1994 Colorado University lecture is basically footage of them when they showed the trailer. They went back to the school, where they were and like showing and talking about it and talking about the film, they were about to shoot or they were currently shooting. I guess because only Matt Stone's there and Jason McHugh, but Trey's not there. And they specifically say in that because he was working on scenes for the film for Cannibal the musical. So that was really cool. Like these are so in depth. There's stuff I haven't seen. That's how good. Like I mean, you know what I mean. Yeah. And this one ends again with the traumatic excess. We have another volume of the Trauma trailer tape and another 15 minutes ish worth of trailers. all the Trauma Team video Cannibal the musical intros for all the releases. We get Cannibal live on stage, which if you don't know, there is a stage, adaptation of it, and you can if you want to do it, you just send in and do it. So it's a thing now. So now, Pugs, we got to keep an eye out for when we can see it.
Let's fucking go.
And so yeah, and there shows a bunch of different clips, and this was actually on, I believe, the anniversary DVD, but different clips of different productions, and it ends with Lloyd when he did a cameo at one and as the judge, and so you get to see his little performance, which is cool. And I think I completely ignored it on the last one, and we have the Radiation March at the end, which was on every Trauma DVD. Dan, you remember the Radiation March, don't you?
Oh, hell yeah. That was a staple.
You there, yeah, you had to have that, and the trauma intelligence test, the TIT. Yeah, so stacked, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
all right,
fucking impressive.
So yeah, trust me, I'm impressed with the again, stuff I hadn't got to see. Some, yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't seen everything, but I mean, yeah,
getting there.
And then, okay, we're going to talk about this one, and we're going to talk about the extras on this. So I'll show you that. I do really like this new art. I mean, obviously, I love the original Trauma art too, which technically isn't the original Trauma art. Before that, and I believe it was Trey who pitched it. It was an all black case with Cannibal the musical on it with little blood splatters, which then when South Park hit and they printed, first they put a sticker on that, from the makers of South Park, and then they did the second artwork, which is similar to this one, just a little yellower, I think. On
that's the one I learned.
This is the most common. The Trauma it's a lot more yellow, but it's the same layout and design, and yeah, the VHS that most people have seen have that artwork on it, and the DVD, obviously. But for new artwork, I do like this. It fits the tone. I like it a lot more than I do like this artwork. This is just kind of
pretty basic.
Yeah, this is actually the artwork, the VHS. Okay, what is the Vinegar Syndrome? What is it? The Gossier video, the sub label. That they also put out a tape, which I wish they would have used this art on. That's such better looking art. And it comes with a cool little booklet with a bunch of information from Jason McHugh, I believe, and it's got photos, stories, text. It's definitely worth checking out. I'm glad they did that. And extra wise, we'll go ahead. I mean, okay, we'll just be on. I'm just gonna say it. Extra wise, yeah, it's hard to beat what that first release has, but that's not saying that there isn't some good content on this. So we're going to start right at the top. So 2.0 soundtrack. We also have the archival inbred commentary. Inebriated.
Inbred's I want that one too.
The drunk commentary. We also have the archival Colorado one. That was from the other one. But this one does have a brand new cast and crew commentary with quite a few people. And I do think this is also well worth listening to. So, and we have a couple new on the other one. Like I said, so it's like neck and neck on the commentaries. Like we have a group one, and then we have some individuals on the other one. Now, as we get into the actual extras, on our first disc, we basically have all the new extras for this one. Fudge Packer, the true story of Cannibal the musical, a making of documentary featuring the cast and crew. And this one, we have a bunch of the cast and crew. I like this also because it is more of a story than just an interview, because it's it's a making of documentary versus a standalone interview, and I am a fan of those, so I did like that. Though we didn't get Dean Bakar. We didn't get him really in the other one, but we do have 19 and Horny. Mm-hmm. It's a 20-minute interview with just him, and it's some really good stories. Like, I'm glad he is at least represented on this one. And I didn't mention the other documentary runs about an hour, so it's paced, it's packed, and I do feel like the other ones you got like a lot more from, like, for example, Toddy. She talks a lot more and gets a lot more into the personal stuff on the other one that we don't really get into on this. So those are definitely more in depth. But this, if you want to know about the film, this is very hour tight. You're in and out, and then despite all the cannibalism, we have I want to say this was a 17-minute piece on the musical, the actual musical version of it, the stage play, I guess we'd go with. And it like it says, it talks about it. And we have I can't remember the name of the LA company, but she talks about getting to do it and stuff. It's a really good, just little piece about, like, they tell how they got the rights, and all that stuff to be able to do the musical, since, Troma owns it. I don't know exactly how it works, but I do know that now that the producer, Jason McHugh, can, like, lease out the musical and do stuff like that. So that's really cool. So extras wise, disc 1, good stuff. Not as packed as the other. Then we're going to get to, because this does have 2 discs and also 2 different versions, which we'll get to. I'll tell you what those are. Oh, well, the logo's blocking it. But this one, we now the thing here is, like, we have the interviews from the 2008 Troma DVD with Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Jason McHugh. These are the 3 interviews I was referring to on the other disc, that the 1-hour interviews, uncut. These are the cut Troma, the officially released by Troma versions. So they're about 20 minutes on each, probably. And it cuts out, like, you don't have the U-turn in the car and some of the other stuff. So
the details.
Yeah, I like, these are the Troma pieces I'm used to. So a traumatic visit with the creators of Cannibal the musical. This is a featurette with Trey, Matt, and Jason. This is the one that has the farting footage, which is also on the other disc too. But the interview with the farting, the behind the scenes footage. This is where the other one's going to get the win again. It's the footage from the other one, but they didn't do the raw tapes. It's more of like a piece that runs, I want to say 30 minutes versus the 2 hours that runs uncut. Then we have various Troma introductions. This is basically the same thing as the other release. And if they're going to steal from the other company, at least start doing this on all of them, because if Vinegar Syndrome, for some reason, has ignored all the Troma extras up until this point. They never get ported, which bothers me, because obviously I want it as complete as possible. Yeah. Not that I'm ever going to get rid of the Troma DVDs, but the point is I want to be able to watch it, and hopefully this becomes the norm thanks to the dueling Cannibal releases. And then we have the trailers, deleted scene. We don't have as much deleted scenes on this one as we do the other one. We have the gallery, same as the other one. Alternate Alfred Packer, the musical titles, that's also on the other one. That's just the alternate, like, before Troma changed the name to Cannibal the musical to make it less of a local thing. Cannibal the musical close-ups, that's another, that's basically the musical, the footage from the various musicals that it closes with the Lloyd. Oh no, that's the next one. See, I'm backing them up. Uh-oh. Oh no, that's right. They break them up on this one. It's all the same thing. I mean, they combine this feature into the musical on the other one. So the first one's like, yeah, I know the last one is the Lloyd comment, the Lloyd live on stage. On the other one, like I said, closes it. So this one has them broken up. The other one has it together. But basically, this is all the Troma stuff that was on the previous releases put on the B disc. All right, there we go on that. Now, the 2 versions that they have on the Vinegar Syndrome release are, they have a brand new video restoration from the Best Surviving Betacam Master, which is versus the other one, which comes directly from the Betacam, not the final Betacam, like when it was all done. So this is a later generation. But there's also a brand new 4K restoration of the only surviving film material, 35mm print, which was created from the final Betacam master. But Vinegar Syndrome, that's their preferred version of it because the film grain hides some of the digital noise. I'll let you guys pick what you think is the best way on that. But so that's the idea on that. Again, I'm not saying this isn't a good release. Like I do like the docks and stuff. And now we're going to get into, I want to show you guys some of the differences of these. Okay. So the first one we're going to look at is obviously going to be the worst of the qualities. And that is the UK release for the TROMARCHIVE collection. You can, I'm doing the text first just to give you like a little, clarity view. So you can see it's a little washed out. I mean, it's from the VHS master. Not great. But now when we move over to their HD master,
oh my God.
You can see the difference. This is the closest you're going to get to the master. And now we're going to move over to the Vinegar Syndromes of their two versions. The print they recommend. And this is from the 35 millimeter print, theatrical print.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. You can tell the text isn't as crisp, but it still has a decent look. I'm not complaining with the text. Now, if you look at their Betacam master, though, you can see it looks a lot sharper. It looks a lot closer to the Refuse Films master, HD master. All right. So
I feel like I'm at the optometrist right now. One or two.
Well, I also grabbed stills of the actual film. So I tried to grab it all around the same frame. So we're going to look at the first one, the Refuse Films UK VHS release. Looks fine. VHS still.
A little faded, but yeah.
And then we're going to look at we're going to look at right there. That is the Refuse Films HD master. You can
vibrant.
see it. Yeah, a lot more colorful, vibrant. And then we'll look at the 35 millimeter print from Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little dark.
It's a little dark. It's a little zoomed. Colors are a little more washed out. And I'm just going to say, I don't think this is the print. If you only have the Vinegar Syndrome one, I do think, I'm just going to say it right now, I do think the VS Betacam looks a lot closer to what I think the definitive print is. And if I'm going to give the answer, I do think it is the Refuse Films HD master. I mean, the two go-to ones are, if you have, like, I think this is the best of the four masters, but the second best would be the Vinegar Syndrome Betacam master, which is from the final film. Seeing him in motion, though, it's hard to argue that the Refuse HD master is the best. Looking in stills, you're just really seeing the color and stuff, but seeing him in motion, the only one that I am not a fan of is the film print. Actually, like, I mean, the colors feel like, and that's the thing. That's one of the most important things. It's supposed to feel like a Technicolor film. It's supposed to look like Oklahoma. Doesn't really get. That's my problem with that. And I get it. Vinegar Syndrome doesn't
feels more Oklahoma.
Yeah. Vinegar Syndrome doesn't want to tinker with stuff, but this is this is the way. This is the closest thing to the 16 millimeter, and for me, it's the winner on that is content wise and transfer wise is the Refuse Films Cannibal the Musical release. And I'm not saying this isn't a good release because I do like the extras, but this is, for me, is the definitive one. So
okay,
I'm not gonna
If you're a diehard like Todd, you're gonna buy both.
Yes, and other versions and other ones too. All right, we got one more, last but not least, and that is Sergeant KABUKIMAN N.Y.P.D.
Sergeant.
And this one, 3 versions, and I will say I was excited because I finally got to watch the PG-13 VHS cut. It was SD, open matte, standard definition. There's also the director's cut, open matte also, and the HD director's cut in widescreen. So I said, I finally got to watch the PG-13 cut, and I still think it plays even without. And this is actually the cut that like played in New York originally, and you know, because they were trying to, this movie was made 50-50 with Namco, so they were trying to appease Troma and Namco, and Lloyd kind of regrets that now, not picking one or the other. But obviously, yeah, I'm not saying to watch the PG-13 cut. I was just happy I finally got to see it and not have to buy the VHS for $90. But director's cut is obviously the best looking version. Not even, yeah. Extra wise, we have a brand new 2024 Jeff Sauce commentary, the 98 Lloyd Kaufman, and also from the earlier release, we have the Rick Giussani scene select commentary. It's not the whole thing, just he does comment on some scenes he's in. For deleted scenes, we have the in production product reel, which is basically a long trailer to sell the film, but there's some stuff that's, different shots and angles. So I thought that was really cool. We get a brand new Lloyd Kaufman interview. Runs about 10 minutes, not as in depth as this Toxic Avenger one, but he kind of admits some of the issues and kind of, what I said with the Namco stuff. And he blames himself for not just, going for it, going one or the other. But yeah, Lloyd's always a good interview. We have another, he did the commentary. We have a Rick Giussani interview, 15 minutes. It was on the Blu-ray. It's from a convention where Lloyd just interviews, the original Sergeant Kabukiman N.Y.P.D. So that's cool. We get to the TROMARCHIVE extras. We have and if you haven't seen this, I definitely say check it out. And this is where it kind of becomes a bit of a downer, because this was Doug Sackman's pet project that, and it's funny. Well, I don't want to say it's funny. In the Lloyd Kaufman interview, he's talking about it. And the interview was shot in 2023 before the passing of Doug. And like, I don't know without him if there's going to be anyone to champion Kabukiman now. Because I mean, he was, he was Kabukiman for the last, I don't even know how long, but he became, that character. And the Kabukiman Returns trailer, it's such a good concept trailer. It feels like the movie should be done. It's so well done. I know the holdup was they never got the script right, but the concept trailer nails it. If you haven't seen it, you guys check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. I know it was. I know. If not, I'm sure it's on Troma now. But it's on this disc, so if you get the disc, you're good. But I'm glad it's included. And then we go. I'm just gonna derail right here. Kabukiman's Cocktail Corner. It has every episode of it, all 10, on the disc, so I can own it in a physical format. Not only does it have all 10 of the complete first season, it also has all the specials on it. So if you haven't ever seen Kabuki's Cocktail Corner, it's all here. I know it was on YouTube, but then when the channel disappeared, it disappeared. Troma always has issues with YouTube, but I know they're all on Troma now. I think they went back up on YouTube also, but it's been a while, so I'm not 100% if they're all up there, but they're all here. So, we also have 2002 Kabukiman in England, which is just, it's I miss like being able to watch like just Troma running wild at the conventions and other places leading up to the Kabukiman in Cannes, which is I love, which is honestly it's just like a 30-minute portion of All the Love You Cans, the Troma documentary that they shot there, but I didn't care because I still watched it all again because I love that documentary. I love that they include, I mean, obviously it's for the Kabukiman stuff, and yeah. I used to throw that one on all the time. Have some drinks. Let's watch Troma being stupid. Great documentary. So I'm glad we got that here. The third episode of Troma's Edge TV. I thought it was very cool to see the 1998 unused Kabukiman Laserdisc intro. It never made it to Laserdisc, but they were trying to get there. Not sure what happened. I don't know if Mother's Day didn't sell enough or you know what, but we never got it. But we do have the intro, so that's cool. We get the KABUKIMAN sales pitch, which, you know, Troma doing their Troma stuff, chilling. We get more Tromival extras. Oh, the 97 KABUKIMAN masturbation PSA that comes from Edge TV. If you haven't seen it, I know it used to be on all the Troma DVDs. It would pop up quite a bit, I'm sure. The third episode of Troma's basement. Another episode of Tromaville Cafe. I love all that vintage Troma stuff. That's Tromatainment, which is something I hadn't seen, which is another just Troma, a bunch of just Troma stuff. Like with KABUKIMAN. KABUKIMAN and Cons. Maybe I'm getting that one confused with the other one, but there, no. That's actually an early one. That was 93. That's one I hadn't seen before. It was before Doug and it was before Paul played KABUKIMAN, but it was a cool piece I hadn't seen before. The 91 KABUKIMAN animated pitch reel when there was supposed to be a cartoon. And I finally got an answer thanks to this release why that cartoon got the kibosh. And I guess that was, well, there was like some stuff on like the news in Japan with like, I don't know, they're doing some shady stuff. And so like the animation company Dick, I don't know if you remember them.
Deke.
Okay, well, for Troma it was Dick. And so that kind of killed it because they didn't, you know, it's a Japanese culture, you know, it was KABUKIMAN, so it was not the good time. Fortunately, that killed it before it got its probably eventual one season like Crusaders, but whatever. What could have been. My favorite thing that they put on here is this 1998 Dick Cavett show interview. And it's just Dick Cavett like talking it's kind of disrespectful. It was kind of annoying. I was like, that's why Freddie killed you, motherfucker. He brings up the Morton Downey Jr. show, which if you didn't, you know, they were suing and all that shit. But I was really glad it was included. And again, Traumatic Excess. We get Troma Trailer Tape 3, which is another 50 minutes of random Troma trailers. I do remember Maniac Nurses Find Ecstasy was on this one. We get a nice little Doug Sackman interview video. Very cool. All the KABUKIMAN video intros from all the other ones. Another Kabuki digital access, which again is almost like a mixtape of just different Kabuki stuff, commercials, trailers, different, not really trailers, just different like Kabuki clips, some from Edge TV, some from just different stuff. Runs 90 minutes. It was cool. I mean, you got a lot of Doug Sackman stuff in there. It does randomly have, and I can't remember what it's from, but I did get released right after his passing. There's just a video of Doug as KABUKIMAN and Tiffany Shepis and in her prime, just like they're just like fighting, like play fighting, like pretending, you know, they're fighting, you know, for, you know, doing Troma stuff. It's just great to see that, and that was included on that. Then of course we end with the Radiation March, but
damn.
Yeah. These things are packed.
They're fucking super packed.
I mean, and the transfers, like, I mean, yeah, I'm all about these releases. I can't wait for the next, you know, set. Now I know with these, it took a while to get them all done. For the next batch, they're not going to announce them until they're ready to ship. So they haven't been announced yet. I don't know what they are. I have my thoughts on ones that they should be. Shocker, I know.
Let's fucking hear it, because I hope they do Citizen Toxie.
I think eventually we'll get there, but I think they'll spread those out. But this is just from, you know, that we need them, and that is we need 100% need a new Troma's War Blu-ray, because the current one that Troma put out, it has some pretty bad micro blocking from an authoring issue. But yeah, you can see it needs, and it's not within the transfer itself, because like I've seen it on Shudder, on Joe Bob, on Troma Now, and it doesn't have that unfortunate digital blocking that it has far too much on that disc. So that's 100%. You know, and that's another one, an early one, Perfect Candidate. Now, obviously, my next one is going to be Unspeakable. 100%. I mean, because if you look at it, we have two from Troma, then we have one that's a Troma pickup with Cannibal. So I figure you do Troma's War, and then you do Unspeakable as the one that's, not in-house. And for the third one, I don't know. I haven't, but those are the two, like I'm going to be kind of a little sad if those aren't, at least one of them isn't in the next batch, but then I'll be, over it once I find out what it is, but hopefully soon. I'm waiting. I'm ready to spend money. I can't wait. Yeah, these are great releases. You can still pick up the Vinegar Syndrome one too. You can go to Dan's eBay. Look, I'm helping you out there. Or you could pick up it. They have it without the slip. You can just pick it up like this too.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to tell you, go get Dan's, because Dan's is cool. All right. See,
yeah.
I'm helping you out, Dan.
Is the link in the chat? Or a link?
He can put it in later.
There you go. Link it up, Dan.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm a huge fan of this line. I want more. And even though I know
happy Troma fan for sure with all those goodies.
Yeah, the last 4.5 days has been nothing but Troma. But they do ship in a box, so if you're getting it from the UK, and it only took about a week to get to me. It wasn't long. It's actually quicker than media mail, So there's that. Yeah, buy them, check them out. I can't recommend them enough. They're just stacked.
Yeah, I'm fucking impressed. I haven't seen it in person yet, but I will.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
well, like money.
Yeah, but yeah, like Terra Firma. I mean, there you go. There's my third pick, because then I want that R-rated version to look the best it can. So, but we'll save that for one day when it happens, and I'll go on about the R-rated version of that.
That was a hardcore nerd breakdown, Todd. That was
yes.
I expect nothing less if it's Troma related.
But I got them. I was excited. I saw how stacked they were. I knew how stacked they were going to be. But somewhere going through the first disc of Toxic Avenger, I was like, yeah, we got to do something with this. I got to talk about them. So I hope if you were on the fence about buying them, you can still pick all three up from the Refuse Films website. I believe it's just refusefilms.com. And we'll put a link in so you can click it too. Vinegarsyndrome.com for if you want the US release, or like me, need both. So I think that's it. Now we're just waiting till August.
Unspeakable. Unspeakable. Well, I'll just throw it out there. We're waiting for Unspeakable.
Yes.
Please. Well, I was currently waiting for Citizen Toxie. That's when I'll throw all my cash at you.
I was saying August for the Toxic Avenger, where we finally get to see it again. And Dan for the first time. So coming up, we'll be reviewing the Toxic Avenger film. Again.
Sweet.
Fourth time.
Whatever. It's worth reviewing and watching.
It may be over, but my Toxic Avenger love has not ended, or Troma love, or Lloyd love, whatever. So yeah, we'll have some more Troma stuff. Maybe not daily. It took me a while to adjust not to doing those daily. Like I was like forgetting to do something today because I wasn't posting a short.
You were used to it, yeah.
And if you haven't seen the Troma shorts that me and Dan, I thought I was going to do them all, but I had to enlist Dan and Pugs. You'll see Pugs in special pop in. Yeah, we'll talk about 364 Troma movies. 3. I don't know. We botched. I botched twice. So
sorry. We're big Troma supporters here, so I think we're allowed a couple.
No one called us out. I discovered it when yeah. So now you can watch the shorts, or you can just watch the whole film. Like I still notice comments on shorts, people still discovering them. So
nice.
that's good. So, but if you want to just stare at me and Dan's face for 4 hours or however long it was, you can watch all 366.
I think it's about 7 or something. It's a long one.
Yeah, it's a long show. All right. That's it. I'm gassed out. That was a lot of talking for me. I can feel my voice going.
There you go, guys. You got the ultimate nerd breakdown of the
Todd approved. Todd approved. That's huge.
There you go. So
like everything I could have wanted on all of these discs.
Let us know what you think of the
Everything.
films and the discs in the comments.
Yeah, I didn't even talk about the films. I mean, obviously they're all 5s from me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let us know what you
Keep 'em
think.
safe.
If you got one version or the other, maybe you disagree and prefer the other version. Let us know what you think in the comments.
There's an argument for the film look because it makes it look more like film. I get why Vinegar Syndrome but yeah, I like the one closest to the 60 millimeter.
He likes his vibrant colors. It's all good.
I do, but it's supposed to be a Technicolor musical.
Uh-huh.
Don't.
I want my dark and gritty versions.
There you go. Well, then you can watch the PAL tape. That's the grittiest of the.
I'll watch them all. You know, we should line them all side by side, all 4.
Well, I can't do that with my gimmick.
Not now.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right. So yeah, Stan, say goodnight so I can.
Good night, guys.
All right, money's on the dresser.
I'll see you in Disneyland.